So I recently updated my animated modern menus pack where I added 5 more. So it used to be 7 in here, but now it says 12 because I updated to add 5 more. I've already created the videos for these two stuff, but in the new ones, which is modern menus 2, I've already created a video for this one. And our next one is going to be this Japanese style cascading door style kinda effect, which looks cool. It looks like nicer, smoother, and it also has like slight animations like this. Again, if you want to not make from scratch, you could get this template from the description. You actually get 12 animated menus just for $5. And if you are an Indian and you cannot pay via PayPal, you could just contact me through my email and I'll give you the UPI code because it's like easier to do that. I did try to do the UPI payment automated, but I don't know, it's not working for some reason. And again, if you had already purchased this template when there were only 7, you can still update it for free and get the extra 5 ones for no additional cost. So I've got this page where it's a header. In my header I have left container, right container like this. The header goes from left to right and it has padding on 50-50 like this. Okay, so I'm going to use this page and you could see there is no Pro added in here. So just to show that it works without any Elementor Pro. But if you want to buy Elementor Pro, the link is in description. If you use that link, it supports me. And again, even if you use that link and register to get like free templates, so if you click on here and you could get like free templates which are available here. So use the link in description and then register, and that way also Elementor knows that you came from me and that directly supports me. So first thing first, we need to actually have the hamburger icon. So I'm going to use different methods. So if you watch the other tutorials in which I made this stuff, I've been using like different methods to add the hamburger menu and then placing it around here, just to show that there are multiple ways to do it. So if you want to try different methods, you could watch the other videos too, but this one I'm going to go with a different method. So I'm going to create a container which would have my hamburger menu separately like this, and everything should be same as the header. So 50-50, let's select this one and let's do 50-50 like this. 50-50, I'll also make this be 0. In this one, we will add my HTML widget. This would be our menu icon. So menu icon. In this one, we would add our code, which would be given in description. This is something that I've been using for like the whole tutorials, all of the previously created ones too. This menu icon, as soon as I add it, you could see it starts showing this one. Another thing, if you want to know how to customize this so that it looks different, so you could see that in this one, I have like multiple stuff. Like this looks a bit larger. This one looks similar like this, and this one also looks like this. It turns cross like this. So if you want to know how to customize it, I've already created video on it. I'll leave the link in description with the timestamp so that it directly takes you to that part of the video. Let's select our hamburger menu and I'll select the end part like this, so that it is like completely this size. Now I'm going to select my header and I'm going to make it be, I guess, 98. Okay, you could even do like 99998, so like 999998, whatever, but just for easy purposes I'm going to do like 98 like this. Our menu icon should obviously be more than that because 99, I want it to be above my all this stuff. Now I'm going to select my header and I'm actually going to give it, let's say, 80 padding from the right, or maybe let's do 100. And I'm going to select this menu icon and I'm going to give it margin of, sorry, not from the bottom but from the top of negative, I don't know how much I should give, so let's try negative 80. Okay, negative 80 kind of works. Just play around with values. There are obviously multiple ways to do it, but this is one method I'm showing in this video. The reason why we do not add it directly in here is simply because it allows me to have different Z index around here and then also have different Z index around here, because if you add this menu inside your container like this, anything that you add to this container would be overwriting the the Z index for any element inside of this one. Okay, so below this one we will create our the menu basically. Let's give it 100 VH, and again you can give it 100 DVH instead of giving 100 VH, because if you use DVH it's much more responsive for mobile. It basically takes the URL tab that is above in your mobile in consideration. If you use like if you select this pen icon and do 100 dvh like this. It's your choice, 100 vh, 100 dvh, just try it out which works for you. I'll call it this one as menu wrapper or something, you could call it anything. Now inside of this one, so where did that menu go? There we go. Here we need 1, 2 and 3 columns. Okay, so in our menu wrapper I'm going to add 1, let's call it less column, and also the menu wrapper should be going left to right like this, and this menu wrapper should be full width, which I totally forgot. And let's also remove the padding so that it is like taking full size. Let's give a column some color so that we can see what we are doing. So this is the color that I've given. I'm going to duplicate it 2 more times. Let's select our menu wrapper and remove the gap so that it is taking no gap. Let's make all the colors slightly different. So let's start making this one a bit darker. Let's make this one even more darker. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. Obviously style it so that it looks like much more better. I'm just quickly going to rush through. This third one would be the one that would contain all our menu items, and this one are just like doors basically. And obviously you could add some stuff in here, but again you would need to do some design. Like there would be some design challenges that you could even try to do it, but again this is how I've made it. This is what visually looked pleasing to me, so I've made it this way, but you could try and there will be some challenges, but it is possible. Let's select and make this 32. Why not? Let's make this 17 and let's make this 10. Something like this. Okay, I'm just playing around with values. Okay, I don't know what the exact values I've used around here. I can check it out, but I'm too lazy. So let's select a menu wrapper and select end like this, so it is at the end of our stuff. You could even select no wrap. Usually no wrap is by default selected, so even if this is not selected it would be no wrap. But when you are going for mobile wave, it would be good to select no wrap just in case something messes it up. So you could see this is how it looks, but you might need to select no wrap for mobile because by default it does not work for some reason. Now I want to add some stuff in here, so I'm just going to add container inside of this one and our right column. So let me call it R column so that we know it is the right one. Inside of this one I have, let's say, menu item or something like this. This R column I'm just going to give it 200 padding. You could play around with it until you like something. And this menu one would have our heading, so let's search for heading, add our heading like this. Let's call it home and let's make this bigger. I'll also make this be P because again if you use all this stuff then it might mess SEO, but P is something that you would use. You could even go into your menu wrapper and make the HTML tag to be nav so that Google knows that it is a navigation. Now instead of this one, so this container, I'm going to add a divider inside this. So divider, let's make this white. Let's play around with some settings like this. So this one, let's select it and make it go left to right like this. I'm also selecting this and making it center. Then let's select our spacer, go into advanced, go into custom and select width custom and let's do 10% like this. Again play around with it until it looks good. Make sure the colors look good and all. Behind all this stuff you could add, let's say, a background overlay or anything that you want. What I've done to add this images in here is simply selected my R column and then added an image inside my R column like this. I'm going to select this image because I do not have the same images that I've used in this website in here, so just bear with me. Just even though the design does not look good, again our goal is to make functionality because anyone can make the design, right? Let's make it, I guess, medium. Let's make this 100 and we'll do position absolute and we can place it wherever we want now. Okay, I can place it like this, I can place it around here, play around with it. It's good to make it percentage so that it works nicely for all devices. Do not use pixels. And then you could play around with the width, how long it should look, how big it should look, like this. And you could make it have, let's say, go into this one, copy, paste it like this, and then paste it like this. Make this one have overflow hidden so that nothing goes outside this stuff. This one too. Don't do it for the right one. I don't think it would matter, but I think it shouldn't be done because I've added like a code to the whole stuff just in case it does not work. But again, try it with both stuff. If you want to do it, you could do it. Just make sure that you try with both stuff. And you could even like place it however you want. Okay, so like this stuff where it is placed, you could place it however you want. Now you could see that behind here there's a grid around here, so you could see there's a grid and then it moves based on my mouse. This is optional if you want to do it, but the way I have done it is in my right column I've added a HTML widget like this. Place it at the start. I'll call this as grid div and copy the code that I'll give you. Copy this code in here. And one more thing, when you add this HTML widget, you also need to select this grid div and then add it the CSS class grid div like this. And you could see it is now added. It's not being visible. It is not being visible. Let's see if it actually is not being visible in the live page too. Okay, it is showing in live page and it is animating, so it's just not looking good around here. So let's just hide it for time being. Now our next goal is to add the CSS classes. Okay, so these are all the CSS classes that we are going to use. So the first one will be given to our hamburger icon, so which is around here like this. Then DM of slide wrapper would be given to our whole menu wrapper, which contains all of this stuff. Then we got column 1, column 2, column 3, which would be given to our columns from top to bottom. So the column 1 would be the top one, column 2 would be the second one, and column 3 would be the third one. Now one thing to keep in mind that our menu wrapper should also have been given fixed so that it is like on top and then it is kind of sticky. And we also need to give it Z index so that it is on top of everything like this. Okay, so it's on top of all the stuff, but we need to make sure that the menu icon has 99 Z index, right? So I'll give this one as 98 so that it is below our icon, and then our header we can give it as 97 so that it is below both our elements like this. This stuff also needs to be given CSS classes, which I totally forgot. There are 3 more CSS classes that I forgot, which are to be given to all this stuff. So this CSS class DM of slide page, which I don't know why I have called it that, but again I'm not changing that again. And then we have DM of slide divider, which is given to the divider. If you want, we can actually remove the gap, or maybe let's keep it. It looks good. And then the DM of slide page wrapper should be given to this container. Okay, so we given to the menu item, the heading and the divider. Now we can go and duplicate this stuff however times you want, and then change the name and all this stuff. Now we have given the CSS classes everywhere. Now all we need to do is add the code which would make it work. So you have 2 options to add the code. You could even choose the menu wrapper like this, and then add the HTML widget at the bottom of the stuff. So make sure all the elements are at the top of your HTML code, or you could create a different container below this one to keep it like organized. It's your choice. This one basically creates like extra DOM size. It's like only 1 or 2. So it's your choice whether you want to do this or not. DOM size basically slows down like speed, but it's still like very small. So it's your choice whether you want to do it or not, but I'm going to keep like a different container. I basically also hid this so that it is not taking space. Let's do 0 for all this stuff. Instead of this, we will create our HTML widget. And all we need to do is I'll give this code in the description in my blog page, so you could just go in here and paste it. Now even if I enable this, you could say it is hidden because the code has actually made it hidden. And we can even go into this code tab and hide it so that it takes like no space at all. Okay, so I accidentally didn't type this wrapper code perfectly, so make sure you add the CSS classes perfectly, else it would just not work. Okay, I accidentally only added half of it, and you could say it suddenly starts working, and you could see it works, but it does look a bit different, right? And why is that? Because the way this works is that when this divider gets bigger, it basically pushes this text on the left side. So all we have to do is simple. I actually refresh the page, so now it is also working in the editor. But if I click on this one and make it go at the right side, you would see that because this one is actually extending, it is actually pushing it to the right side. You could see now it just works. Obviously if you give like link, then your cursor would also look like what you call the hand icon, or you could add like simple CSS to do that. And if you go to the tablet devices, you just need to play around with stuff like this. Make this one be bigger, something like this for the tablet. Then go for the mobile version and do the same stuff. Make this one be, I guess, 20. Make this one be like 5. And make this one, I don't know, like 30. 40, 50, like this. Play around with until you like figure something out that works. So let's do 10 and let's do 30. That's 10, 30, 40. So this one can be 60. Make sure you have done the wrapper, no wrap, else it would not look good. And then obviously play around with the styling and all until it works. Okay, so rest of it is done. One thing that you would see that I can actually scroll now as soon as even it's showing like this, right? So I can still scroll. I need to refresh page. It is looking completely off. It is a bit visible right here, so I'll also make this one not the full menu wrapper. Okay, so only do it for this smaller container or column, because in the menu wrapper I have used like a what you call CSS class which allows scrolling. So in case the screen is very small, it would be much more responsive, making the menu to be scrollable in case something like that happens. But in most cases it would not be an issue. But you could see people are now able to scroll, but this is also scrolling. Now there are two ways to do it. So let's say you have a header which does not have sticky header. For example, this is static header, right? It does not follow. In each of this menu I have given something called the no scroll code, which should only be used for non-sticky headers. And non-sticky header is this one where it is not sticky. For this to be fixed, it's very easy and it's very quick. Before our menu, so in here before our menu, I will add another HTML widget like this, which would be our no scroll code. And here you will simply need to do is copy the no scroll code. If you are using like the template, it's already provided in here. But if you are using the custom method which is making from scratch, then it would be in the description. So no scroll code, it's around here, and in the HTML widget, scroll down, there is double forward slashes in here. This double forward slashes have basically made this code not active. So if I just click or remove this double forward slashes, it basically makes the code active. And again, remember this is for static only. Okay, so this is static. If I click on here, you could see I cannot scroll now anymore. This slide scrolling is caused by this top bar, this admin bar. It would be not available for live page. So you could see there's slide scrolling happening like this. But what if you have something called sticky header? Then you do not use the no scroll code like this. You do not use the no scroll code. You also do not use the body class, which is like removing the scroll bar like this. And what you simply do is you select your menu icon, go into advanced, let's remove the margin, and we instead use position fixed, or before that let's make our header fixed. If you want, you could use motion effects, sticky top bar too. I'm using this to show for people who do not have Pro version, but if you have sticky Elementor Pro, I think you could even add it in here, and it should work, but it's very case by case. So let's do the fixed method, which is position fixed. You could see it is now on top of everything. Let's give it a white color so that it looks like this, and now you could see it is a sticky header. We'll select our menu icon and we will also make this be position fixed. Make it go right and top, and then just play around with it until it is looking at the right location like this. You could see this slide stuff is kinda annoying me, but it's not going to be visible in the main page. And you could see that even though this header and this menu are in different containers, they look like they are at the one place like this. And now if I do preview, I have a sticky header. If I click on it, I have the sticky menu and I can scroll without any issues, and the menu icon also stays there. If I click, it gets hidden. Again, the top bar is kind of hiding some of our header, so in the live page it would not look this bad, but in the admin bar, which is this one, it is kind of making it look like this. So again, this is all I had to do to make it work. Okay, so yeah, that's all. So again, you could see it is working. I don't know, for some reason it was not doing this stuff. I just had to refresh and style it better than what I've done. And if you want to make from scratch, you could watch this video and future videos. But if you don't want to make from scratch, the link is in description to buy it, and consider subscribing for the new versions, which are 3 more menus that are going to be made in future.